We at Collegewear Inc. sat down with professional photographer and UC San Diego alum Brianna Janae and asked her about her experience doing graduation photo shoots. Tell me your experience with photography. How did you get started with it, and what are you doing today?
I started my sophomore year of high school, but I didn't take it seriously until I was a senior, but also going into college, which is what I studied. And I started doing sports photography and moved into portrait photography, and my style mostly revolves around doing stuff about identity, social issues, and documentary work. During my college years, I had worked in the UCSD Art Gallery and in the San Diego Tribune. I work as a photojournalist and writer for a nonprofit called Represent Collaborative, and as a teaching artist. And aside from that, I'm working on developing a project that's going to premiere next year in a gallery.
What is your experience with doing graduation photo shoots?
I started doing graduation shoots my third year of college with a massive group shoot that was both on campus and off campus. But I didn't start growing my clientele for graduation shoots until I was a senior myself. From there, I just took photos at like classic trademark spots at UCSD, people's workplaces, or random memorable things that the person usually goes to.
What do you enjoy most about graduation photo shoots, or least enjoy?
What I most enjoy about graduation shoots is getting people comfortable in front of a camera. I feel like I have a really good way of like disarming people, especially if they're like, I'm not really good at posing or I'm not a model. And it's just like anyone can be really good in front of a camera if you get them comfortable enough. My least favorite part about taking graduation shoots is that some people don't understand the editing process and what it takes to edit photographs.
As a graduation photographer, you often work with a wide range of students from different backgrounds and situations. What are some things people should look out for when hiring a photographer, such as pricing, accessibility, etc.?
I think if you're looking for a graduation photographer, you should always look at their pricing, how many hours they're giving you for the price, and how many photos you're getting. And if they provide a portfolio, I would look into that. Some people have comments from other people about their experience working for them. Also see if they have other packages to do photographs. Like for me, I have a 30-minute session, an hour session, and they all range from prices and the amount of photos I give or locations that are going to be happening. That's pretty useful beforehand. And if you have a photographer who's reasonable, they should ask you what your budget is so they can work with you to make the most out of your experience. Portfolios are really important just because they show the style of the photographer, because some photographers love high contrast, some photographers love really bright and airy photos. So whatever photographer aligns with your aesthetic is probably the best person for you.
What are some fun, unique, or interesting ideas you have seen or recommended to clients for their photo shoots, such as poses, accessories, angles, etc.?
Grad photos are always different. I did a bunch of photo shoots that included people's old roommates, boba shops, because there's a lot of boba shops around. I've had dancers put on their uniforms. I did mine on music albums that I liked, and I emulated those. The most important part of these graduation shoots, not only to get like, oh my God, you accomplished this really big thing, but it's also to capture your personality. It's fun to like do different poses. Like I've had my friend jump off and do kind of like a weird plank thing as a pose for a meme because he was really big into memes.
What are some locations, both common and unconventional, you recommend as a photographer? This can be in terms of accessibility, crowd control, hidden gems, or scenic spots.
Some locations I'd recommend for people's graduation shoots is anything with your school logo. Look for any trademark stuff that represents your school. Like at UCSD, there's the Dr. Seuss statue, Geisel, snake paths, the pier. If you want to go unconventional, think about like what spaces you've been in for a while, like besides the library, of like where did you go to work. If you liked your job, take a photo at your job. Even I've seen a really memorable shoot this past year where a girl paid homage to her parents and took photos in a field. That's kind of unconventional. Take photos in nature or key parts of your city.
You're a Bay Area native and also a UCSD alum. What are your favorite locations from both areas to take graduation photo shoots at?
So in San Diego, I would suggest going to Liberty Station because it has really cool architecture, or Balboa Park because it has the Plant Conservatory, which is really nice, or the museums and a fountain. If you're in the Bay Area and you have access to go to San Francisco, I would suggest going to Christie Park, China Beach, because they are places that overlook the Golden Gate Bridge. And most of the time it's pretty spread out where you can avoid crowds. If you live in Oakland, I would suggest going to Lake Merritt, or in Berkeley if you want to go to the Berkeley Hills and go to Grizzly Peak. It overlooks the entire East Bay. Those are really good spots to go to.
A popular form of graduation photo shoots are those taken in groups, be it a club or a group of friends. What are some common hurdles that you or your clients face in organizing these types of shoots? What are your recommendations?
For group photos, the hardest part is getting everyone to be on time and finding time. So I would suggest that everyone block out, especially if you're a girl and you have get your hair done, makeup done, whatever, you block out a, let's say, 4-hour block, which gives you 2 hours to do all your makeup, get everyone together, an hour for you and the photographer to discuss anything or to travel to different locations, and then an hour to shoot. I think that's the most important thing, because most of the time people are like, oh, I have work at this time, I have classes this time, I have this other priority to go to, and so you get people just going out of schedule. Also, if you are trying to coordinate all your friends individually, you can also do your individual shots with the photographer. Like make it worth your money with the photographer. Other than that, I would suggest knowing how to pose with your group, because sometimes your head can cause a shadow on someone else's face, and that's not great when you have to do edits for that. So also be aware as a photographer of how to pose people. It's not only the subject's fault, it's your fault too.
What are some other tips you wished everyone knew about when getting their grad photos taken?
Every photographer is different. Every person's time for editing is different. I've seen so many different types of photography photo shoots when it comes to people using full-on light kits, and some just using their cameras, or some just using their iPhones. So do your research on who you want to be with, and if you are on a budget, use your iPhone. You have portrait mode. Be aware that if you use confetti, try to use biodegradable one, because cleanup afterwards is such a mess. Please don't use glitter. It's not really good for the environment and super hard to clean up in public spaces. Know how to use your props beforehand, or have your props ready beforehand, especially if you have champagne. Other than that, please tell your photographers that you have multiple outfits. And if you want to bring a friend to help, definitely bring them for moral support, but don't have them try to pose you, because that's the photographer's job to work with you.
For photographers, both novice and advanced, what are some specific tips about graduation photo shoots you have to share that may not apply in any other photo shoot setting?
I wouldn't suggest shooting any photographs at noon, just because the light is super harsh. Look for days that are slightly cloudy, so it slightly diffuses the light on your subjects, and it makes it easier to edit in post. If you want to do an alternative to sunset photos and your person's a morning person, go during sunrise. You get some really cool blue tones, and you avoid a crowd. If you are super prepared beforehand, have a gallery in your phone that has different poses, just in case if you run out of things for your person to do.
What equipment have you found most helpful in graduation photo shoots?
A tripod and a reflector. A tripod's good for helping stabilize the shot, and then having a reflector is good for if the light's kind of harsh. Also, always bring extra batteries and SD cards because you will run out of space at some point or your camera will die randomly. Those are always good things to bring.
What happens after the photo shoot is over? How does post-production work?
Some photographers have proofing sites, or like they allow people to look at their photos beforehand to choose. Some people just give you full control and you can send them whatever photos you think that they look good in. I would suggest talking to your photographer, or a photographer talk with your client about how they want to do that, and make sure you communicate about any aesthetics that they want, any poses that they would like, because some people can be very particular about that. Also, if anything, back up all of your photos just in case someone's like, oh, I thought you took a photo of this. You have the photo of it just in case. Even if you don't like it, you're able to have that backup image.
Thank you for taking the time to talk with us about creating the best graduation photo shoot experience. Where can we find more from you?
Thank you. It was my pleasure. You can find me on Instagram at IBA_Bréana Parks_, or on my website, brianminjaekim.com. You can also email me at breaparks@hotmail.com for any inquiries. If you want to read more about some projects that I've written, you can look for them on Represent Collaborative. And next year, find me in Oakland for a gallery show.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more, we have plenty of content waiting for you on our website at collegewearinc.com/graduation. And make sure to follow us on our social media for the latest updates on graduation stoles and accessories we have to offer.